Yes, sir.
If you wanted to enter the beauty industry, and you know, that's what I was doing.
What is going on?
Everything I had, I just quit.
Welcome to a new live video.
$5 million was coming.
Been doing this now for 6-7 years.
So anyways,
Still doing
I
it.
left the newer card. I did the older card, and left the house and a bunch of money for my wife and my
Got a
daughter.
South Africa. Is what? Where are these wild dogs based? Are they only in South Africa, or are they like around the whole of Africa? I suppose they're like African wild dogs, right?
Yeah.
Sick.
I think it's like, yeah, predominantly in the south of Africa.
Yeah.
Not just to South Africa.
Oh, okay. So they're like a country kind of, like a country kind of symbol.
You find them in South Africa, Namibia, Botswana.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty much all those throughout.
Oh, wicked. What's going on, Rico? What's going on, Hustle Tattoo? What's going on, Pradeep? Some guy. Back with another one. Please subscribe. Please smash that like button. It's going to be a really cool one today. A lot of long hair and short hair in this, so it'll be very cool to see what I do. I've hand stenciled this as well, so it's a bit more relatable. But yeah, what I'll probably use in this is, I'm using this 11 curve Magnum 0.30 and the Acus M1 machine 4.1 cam, running at 82 Hertz today with the +1 motor setting. With my normal dynamic drop system. You can go back through my channel to see what that is, or you can subscribe to my Instagram and find out exactly what that is, and for more content as well. Exclusive content. Just subscribe to my Instagram.
Orange juice or coffee, and that was my breakfast. And then I learned how to, I know it's 99 cents, right? And then I learned to, as one of these places you walk up the guillotine, you walk outside and you eat it. And then I found a way to be able to eat off of a dinner for like $1, $1.25. And what I did was somebody called El Torito.
What machine are you using? I'm using a Acus M1 machine.
Virtually no business from 4 to 5:30 in the afternoon. So they started this thing where 99-cent margarita wasn't Patron, but it was.
I'm moving my hand a bit faster today, so I've put my machine up in hertz. I normally use like a 66 hertz on this, but today it's going in very easily, so there's no blood, there's no redness, very minimal, so I've got a bit of leeway in the skin to turn my machine up. If you know, you know.
It went really well, but after 3 or 4 days, they kind of caught on, and the waitress came over and said, "You guys are down and out, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah," and I told her the story.
This will probably go pretty quick today, I think.
But I remembered them, and when we started making some money several years later, I was able to afford it. I came back and I tipped everywhere in that restaurant, the biggest tips they've ever had in their life, for helping me out when I needed help again.
What were you telling yourself during that time when you have no money, you're living in your car? Like, what were you telling yourself, and how did you get out of the situation?
Well, when you're really down and out, the next thing you should think about is not.
I use a 5 cam shade so much smoother. God no. That is a recipe for disaster, my friend.
You can't change yesterday's newspaper. So what I just did was I just thought ahead of what's the next thing to do tomorrow.
Especially when it comes to healing.
Who do I call next? How do I make it?
That'll shred that skin without you knowing it.
And I would say the same thing to anyone that's down and out or homeless.
But on my exclusive content, I do courses as well. They're very scientific.
Something happened to them. They got fired. They got a divorce. Somebody said something to them that hurt them, you know, or today over the internet.
What to do when the skin becomes red, and what to do when the skin bleeds, etc., etc. But yeah, I'll put the links in the description after the video. You can rewatch this video back.
Well, now your thinking power is behind you. You can't change it. You gotta think ahead.
I'm going to change to a 5-round shader now.
Forget every jealousy that's ever
0.25 actually. Is that no, this is a round liner.
Change it. Forget it all. When it comes in your mind, just forgive it. Forgive yourself. Forgive Joe Blow. Forgive everyone. You don't have to tell them personally if you don't want to. Just forgive them. You're a jerk. That was the past. I'm not gonna carry you around anymore. And it becomes your mind again, you say, nope, that's my past life, get out of here, let's move on.
How did you go from 0 to 9?
Knocking on doors, and then after 6 months, I was hired to hire me, just enough to hire a secretary, really cheap, Shirley Nichols, she was wonderful, didn't mind helping us out, she did 10 jobs. My first field guy was a year and a half later.
Please smash that like button, guys. There's 60 people watching, only 10 likes.
Everything we
What's
had,
going on?
we reinvested. Never changed my lifestyle. I don't think partly for that. But never
Appreciate
changed
the
my lifestyle
appreciate the support.
until I have enough money to be able to survive on what I have, my bills paid in full, and no bills.
Yeah,
for
so
me
we're gonna go in
personally,
with a
enough to
5-round
be able to
shader now.
do something.
Do you remember any specific knocking on the door?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh yeah, lots of it. Oh, of course, yeah. They were nice. Some of them were like, no, talk to my salesman, not to me. Well, I am your salesman. We don't have a salesman, right? Anyway, so but it was good. People were usually pretty friendly. Hairdressers are very friendly people. There weren't that many that were rude. Very, very few, if any. Just the experience were just really, really nice people, and many became some of my best friends and some of our best educators for the company.
It's also interesting. I like the guarantee. I like the classes. One thing to come back on, a lot of people starting out businesses are talking. They think they do, or they don't know if they want to partner or not. So how did that partnership come about, and how do you think people should look for partners in business?
Well, with me, Paul Mitchell and I were pals for 9 years in the beauty industry. We were very, very good friends. In fact, a young lady, our mutual friend, was Eva Craig, introduced us to one another. Just how I was starting in the industry, and Paul was really on heavy. He's a top educator in the industry.
Thank you for the likes, guys. I'll just zoom this in a bit more for you.
And after 9 years, we decided, hey, let's do our own business here together. And it was a perfect relationship with Paul and I. I didn't do hair, and he didn't do any business. He was a businessman, but a top hairdresser, top educator. So we never argued about anything. When it came to hair and how to do things with hair in the classes, Paul, yep, you're right, 100%. Business, I was right on that one in most cases.
So you guys had your separate lanes that you were just...
Exactly, yeah. And of course we crossed over. If he did a hair show, I'd be on stage with him, promoting our products and trying to give people ideas how to be successful in salons and things like that. And we worked in it. Same thing, Paul and I did hair shows where he would be hired for a hair show and maybe get a room, right? He'd always ask for 2 beds. We'd get the $99 special to fly there at night, so I could be there. He was already there because he was already paid to show up. I would come, take one bed, he'd take the other bed, so there was no cost involved with us other than to get me there, period. We'd do a show, we'd sell it right off the floor, and then we'd stay there for a couple of days with whatever distributor we had to go knocking on their customer stores with the sales.
Hey brother, what's going on? Alex Tattoo, it's 84 hertz right now.
There's
Plus
a
one
lot
motor
there.
set.
It was amazing. What a super
That's
cool.
what I'm using today.
I don't know if
A
it's
bit faster than normal,
the sales,
but
the positivity,
very good nonetheless.
I guess I'm trying to think for the other entrepreneurs and people on their business journey is like, what would you recommend for them? And this, you're like, hey, I got a discount. You don't like this? I'll do this. And that's the perfect.
The skin's not
question
too
to
red
ask.
today, so
It's the perfect thing that I'd like
got a
to
bit of
mention to
leeway
everybody.
in the skin,
Number one,
just
understand
wet.
We made a hell of a good product. We made the best product we possibly can. So your product or service has got to be the best. That's number one, okay? You don't want to be in the selling business. You want to be in the reorder business. Most people put something together, the package, can I sell it, can I sell it? Mine was all about, I want them to reorder it. So the product has got to be so good, and the person that's using it, the hairdresser, has got to really know it's good. Hairdressers know. They're the best people in the world to get advice for hair, period. They're just done better. So they would know how good it is. So we knew that the product we have. The second thing is, and probably as equally as important, is be prepared for a lot of rejection because you're going to get it. If you're prepared for it, it's not going to affect you. It's like when I sold encyclopedias. The average age for of an encyclopedia salesman after they were trained for no money, training is free, right? You don't get paid a dime, was 3 days. It's door-to-door commission only. But he told me something that made me successful in 3.5 years, and I believe what they said. They said, a lot of you aren't going to make it, some of you will. Those that will overcome rejection. A lot of doors will be closed in your face. But on door number 50, you have to be just as enthusiastic as door number 1 to have that same motivation. Those are the guys who will make it. Well, for me, maybe it was door 101, okay? But I did. I kept up the same enthusiasm. As you do that, you learn more how to do things better, how to say things differently, and you get better and better and better. And the enthusiasm just never left. And that's why I started Paul Mitchell the same way, doing it with someone else. And that's what I say to all entrepreneurs. The 2 biggest things you'll ever need is that. A quality service or a quality product. A quality service if it's a one-time sale, or a product if it's a one-time sale for whatever reason. If it's really good, they'll tell others. If it's something they could repeat, you've already put that into it. It's so good they'll want to repeat the order. Now you're in business.
And I think one of the things that definitely sticks with me that I think.
In your opinion, is the M1 better? Yes, 100%.
One facing rejection, but also finding.
In my opinion, it's the best machine on the market right now, and I think it'll be the best machine in the market in about 10 years' time as well. I think the Acres guys that built the machine are 2 steps ahead of it, everyone. I think it is, well, I know for a fact it's the most customizable machine in the world as well, right now. In terms of how you want to set it up. It's very, very, very smooth running. It's super quiet. It's well balanced.
My first product, right? This is 43 years old right now.
And you can literally use it to how you tattoo.
Let me show you something amazing. Watch this. I put it in my hand, right? Right in your hand, please.
Yeah.
Oh, get in. Watch. Put your hand. Look a little bit. Watch. Now, you don't have a clue what to do with that. Say, now let me tell you about this conditioner, right? Now I've got your attention, right? And I would always hold it like a gem, because it was a gem product. I'd say, let me tell you about the conditioner. And then I would hold it here like this. And they don't know what the heck to do with this, right? But I got their attention, okay? I'd say the conditioner is a moisture treatment, a protein treatment, a nucleic acid treatment. Let you cut the hair easier and slip. And then it's instant. You put it in your hair. It's incredible for your skin, by the way. Unbelievable for your skin. Especially as a hairdresser with all the chemical things you may be using.
The angle of
in your hands.
Yeah, man, it's
Very
good.
For your skin. Rub it on in there.
Very good.
Good for your skin. Look, if I'm ahead, no, really, just nice. Yeah, there you go. All of a sudden they're part of my presentation. So when I would go in there and hold the class, I would explain to the hairdresser when they're at the back base and say, on your hair, because it's fine hair, we're going to use shampoo 1. That's what we're going to use on your hair is shampoo 1.
82 people watching. Please smash that like button, guys.
So now the customer
Please subscribe if you're new.
You're special. And then when you
Over
sit in
300
the chair,
videos on here to
pictures,
rewatch.
Put it in there and tell them what this does. And at home they can do the same exact thing and it's good for your skin.
Yeah, I feel so.
Now I know.
It reminds me of a story about the.
And every time I tattoo, I listen to a nice podcast as well, which educates you as well. There you go.
Like, all right, let me show you this hammer. And he breaks the glass of it.
Right, let's get some medium tone in here.
Then he gives the person the hammer the next sale and says, "You break it on." So actually giving them the product to experience it. Powerful way of getting them involved.
Who cleaned up the mess?
But it's interesting to involve your customer. Like, one thing, the jumps are still pretty insane. Going 0 to 1 million. How did you go from $1 million to, I think you guys do $1 billion a year now selling product? Like, how did you guys go from $1 million to $1 billion a year?
Reinvest. All the way they came along, we reinvested and did good things for the hairstylists and then started schools. We have over 100 schools, Paul Mitchell schools. So you teach the new hairdresser how to be a great hairdresser and be successful. Well, of course, we're doing the Paul Mitchell products.
Hello from Germany. What's going on, Rage? Literally in your neck of the woods the other week, last week. I'll be back in. I'm doing a European tour as well. So if you want to get tattooed by me, I'm going to Switzerland, France, Italy, Germany, Cologne, and the Netherlands, hopefully. So hit me up on my Instagram, and you can. We can get something locked in.
You guys are like, there's all these major companies out there.
I think today, Paul Mitchell, as our hair company, we just don't get all the information. It's private. We happen to know that what we believe in is the.
Without art knowledge, is it possible? Yes, I don't have any art knowledge.
So a lot was through hard work, believing.
But I've learned from some of the world's best tattooists. So. And I hold a podcast on here as well and speak to a lot of world-renowned tattooists that have a lot of experience and worked with other people, and I get tips and knowledge from them that I relay back to you guys as well. So.
I have a little present for you. I put together a free guide on how to start your own business while working a day job. This is what I did to get AppSumo.com into an 8-figure company while having a day job as a marketing consultant. To download a copy for free, go to okdork.com/dayjob. That's okdork.com/dayjob. It's also linked below in the description. All right, back to being a
So how did the idea for Patron come about? I heard there's like a pre-order story in Mexico.
I was just sitting around. This was the late '80s, 1989. Just sitting around with a friend of
Let's
mine.
get this inside of this mouth done because it's
And I
rubbing
put
off
him
a
in the
bit.
architectural business. He
Actually,
was an
I'll keep this
architect. It just went
needle in.
bankrupt. A friend of mine.
90 people watching, hello.
This guy,
Everyone that's
went
watching.
bankrupt in the hospitality business. JP's a great architect. He's got a good idea for a business. Go to Mexico, buy pavers and furniture, come back and sell it to restaurants or architects for their model homes. A little niche business, right? We were doing okay on it, and I was starting to build a house for my whole family in California, in Malibu, a big one. We were making some good money at that time. So I said, Martin, when you go down, you got to buy some pavers for me, some stone for this house. While you're down there, Martin, find out, because we were drinking a little bit of tequila at the time, right? But it wasn't Patron tequila. We take a shot, where's the lime or where's the salt? It wasn't quite as tasty, shall we say, or beneficial to the throat as the tequilas are today, the newer ones. Anyway, so Mark came back with this long bottle, nondescript, had a horseshoe on it, and he said, this is what a lot of them are drinking down here. And I thought, wow, that's the smoothest tequila I've ever had. You could actually sip this a bit. He goes, yeah. But I ran across this guy named Francisco Alcaraz. He's the chef of tequilas. He could make it smoother. I said, well, let's check it out. He went back down, brought me some back, and was, wow, man, this is smoother, right? So I said, okay, I'm going to bankroll this, Martin. Let's order 1,000 cases. That's 12,000 bottles. And let's see what we can do with it, right? And then Martin found this bottle, which is still the Patron bottle of today. Found it out of recycled glass. It was a gift bottle, right? And I said, if we make these in quantity, where we have recycled glass and it's in recycled cardboard boxes, so we're really into it. He goes, yeah, we could probably arrange that. And we did. We really pulled it off. Anyways, the interesting thing was, nobody would take us. Nobody wanted the product. Everyone we ran across said, I've never tasted anything like this, but it's way too expensive. The average tequila in 1989 was around $5 a bottle. I think the best one was $14 if you could find it. We just sell ours for $37.
Thanks for answering, no worries, bro.
Way more than anybody else. They said no. I walked into Spago's restaurant. Wolfgang Puck was a friend of mine, and Spago's was the restaurant in Beverly Hills, the other. And I gave notice. I said, oh, JP, this is good stuff. I said, would you serve it to your celebrity friends? He said, of course, it's the best, because they were
I'm
known
going to use
as the
this
best.
5-round shake. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to use a 3-round liner
He
for
probably
this.
did. To all the celebrities. Yes, pretty soon I knew Bruce Springsteen is on the road, and with his the main saxophone player, they're bringing a case of Patron with them on the road on every concert they want to do. Well, that was pretty cool. And then Martin knew the guys at Bar Cantina, Marina Del Rey. He got them. So we finally went to a wine company. This is a wine company. All they sold was wine. We said, would you take on our spirit?
How do you tackle large, solid black and grey?
Just
a stencil, really, and just doing parts at a time, man. Like, this is pretty large. This is like 2 of my hands easily stretched out on the side of a leg. So,
we'll give you Spagos and Bar Cantina. You're kidding. You can get us into Spagos.
but like you can see my
So we didn't want to tell them that.
work, I'm just doing sections at a time.
Okay, but you gotta
Not
show
going
the
too
next day.
crazy.
After a little over a year, we dropped them. All they sold was just a little over 1,000 cases. That was it. That's for the whole year, a little over a year. So we dropped them. And we took on a big company, a great big company, like Jim Beam. They were big. Where we would sell to Jim Beam, and they would sell through their distributors, wherever they sold Jim Beam alcohol to. And they were really great guys. So we thought, boy, we're going to get really big with them. Well, after another year or two with them, they'd sold about 12,000 cases a year. So we met with them, nice people. And we said, guys, we think we should do 40 or 50,000 cases a year. You're big, you got the distribution. And they were very kind. They said, guys, let's tell you the truth, okay? No one's ever come out with a tequila like this before, right? Guys, you're just too expensive. You have the best tequila ever. There's no doubt. That's what we think. But it's 30, by that time it goes up to $38.95. No one's going to buy it, JP. Very few people will buy it. The most you will ever sell is 20,000 cases a year. We didn't believe it. We dropped them and went on with Seagram's. Kept Seagram's for a few years, and they got it up to about 70,000 cases a year. And we thought we could do a heck of a lot different. So by that time,
Please smash that like button, guys. Like the video.
And bought them out of their contract with us. Just bought them out as millions of dollars, but we had it. We gave
Show
it to
some
Barber,
support.
and we took it over ourselves. and then all of a sudden it just took off. So a lesson that people will learn. This one product that was too expensive and nobody wanted, or a big person thought, and they had right that all the statistical data, no one could ever approach that, right? But all of a sudden it took on and people wanted to treat themselves to the very, very best. When I sold Patron about 5 years ago, we were approaching 4 million cases a year. I think just our tequila alone was about 3.5 million cases of that. And obviously, as you probably know, it's public record, it went for the largest amount ever within the spirits company. But you know, so you don't believe what people tell you. You believe yourself. If someone tells you something that's real, there's no reason not to believe them. If they tell you something negative, question it. What do you feel in your own heart? What do you feel can be done? And just go for it. Look at how many times Sylvester Stallone pitched Rocky and nobody wanted it. He didn't give up. He kept on going and going. And look at some of these guys in the internet industry. How they just pushed and pushed and pushed, didn't give up, and all of a sudden they made it. So a good portion is, no matter what the rejection is, keep your eye on the target. Ignore the trivial many and just pay attention to the vital few and get rid of all the baggage off your shoulders.
How did that feel for you when you sold for billions of dollars, the highest ever?
Oh, it felt great. I felt wonderful. I would not even give out information when it was public knowledge. That's the only reason I'm talking.
Yeah, it's it. We saw it was like over $5 billion.
Yes, what it's no, the value of the company, you know, was $5.1 billion. That's public knowledge.
I think a lot of people are curious. Okay, you get it billions of dollars. What do you do with it?
Oh, happy dance. Yeah. Well, the first thing that I did was, very first thing, I wrote a check for $50 million that went directly to start the Peace, Love, and Happiness Foundation. That changed Austin as well as the rest of the world. That's the first check I wrote, gave back. And I feel great because America still works, and I'm a big giver, as you guys know. That's public knowledge too. That I participate not just financially, or you know, it is millions of dollars in some places. You know, in this city even more, to just change things for people and make them better off. And I figure that, let's say the good Lord, the creator of all of everything that we have here, whatever you want to call him, you call him God, you call him force, whatever you want to call that creator of everything, gave me that opportunity. And I think part of it was my destiny was to give back along the way and find new experiences and help
Thank you
others
for the
along
likes
way.
and support on the
Things
video,
are so good
guys.
to me. Why not help others? So I'm very generous in what I do.
That is awesome. The other thing, one, I think what the two things with the parallels I'm hearing is that you have to have something that you believe in and is great. Like if you had an okay tequila and you're trying to knock on doors, it's probably no matter what you believe, it's not going to do that.
That's right. That's correct. But it's just a matter of enough people knowing. I mean, an example is some great people like Clint Eastwood did me one hell of a favor. He's a nice man. He's a friend of mine, right? And I think this is like 1992. We were maybe in business 2-3 years. He does a movie. He calls me on the phone and says, JP, are you still going out with that Eloise? I go, yeah, I sure am. That's my wife, by the way, okay? I said, yeah, I'll probably marry her. She's incredible. He goes, well, I want to help you get her right. He says, I want you to come down to the premiere of a new movie I have. And I want you to come as my guest. I said, oh, that's great. I'll bring her with you. I said, oh, boy, I'm going to premiere of a movie because I hadn't done those things in my life. So I take her down to the premiere of the movie. Clint is nowhere around. He's elsewhere doing a promotion in New York or something, right? But the producer met me. He said, oh, we've been expecting you. And he gave me seats right next to him, right in the middle of the theater, next to the producer. Free popcorn, I'll never forget it, free Pepsi. Usually find Coca-Cola, right, in the theater, but Pepsi. And I thought, boy, this is cool. Next to the producer, got free popcorn, free Pepsi. Boy, I'm the man, right? That wasn't it. We watched the movie. He never said a word to me. We watched the movie. The only thing he drank in the movie was Patron tequila. And the most hottest scene in the movie is he, the terrorist on the phone. He was a Secret Service agent, right? He, the terrorist on the phone, and he's sipping Patron while he's trying to talk the guy out of killing the President of the United States. That was in the line of fire in his movie. I mean, just some really cool people jumped up, and people that I knew, and all of a sudden just somehow just got it out there for it. They helped us out. And another big help was hairdressers. We would have a seminar every year, and about 3,000 top hairdressers would come to it, and we would serve them all Patron free. They would go home and ask for it. And at first, they didn't have it out there, but then when the salesman finally got around, and we finally got a sales distributor in that area, and they finally got around to liquor stores and clubs.
I got the XM one. Wow, yeah, man.
Is that what it is?
when people try it out,
So hairdressers help that a lot.
it's incredible.
Was the motivation?
I think the next convention, at conventions, they at their booth, you can try it out on their booth, and it's just honestly the most incredible machine. There's some big news coming with myself and Akis as well,
It doesn't seem like you.
so keep an eye out for that.
What is your sweet spot, and like how do you organize these billion-dollar businesses?
I don't think I can say too much though right now.
I don't know. We're seeing so many people. I was trying to.
Well, it's very easy. When you start out, we couldn't afford anybody. But I could do everything, so finally Shirley Wong would do 10 jobs. A year and a half later, from the time I started the business, we had enough to hire one salesperson. So we did it as we could afford it without hurting the growth of the business. But we didn't have the money to grow fast. So that's how the whole business grew, little by little by little by little by little. And we just learned how to move off fewer moving parts. That's my way of doing business. Fewer moving parts. Well, handle a piece of paper once. Have one person do what they should be doing, but don't hire 3 people to do the job of one person. And I knew that because I did everything when we started. Everything but doing the actual hair shows, I did. So I know what it was like. So I could get somebody and give 2 or 3 things to do, knowing it's really easy because I did 10 or 15. I showed my example.
Yeah, I love it. I also just want to highlight for the audience out there, just like I love it. There's something just so much about your teaching, making your customer successful, educating, and the more you help them educate, the more they're like, well, oh, I need to have these products to then help me be successful.
And I like these guys, they're behind me, not just selling me. There's a lot of good products out there. A lot of good products out there, but we're different. One, we're all for the hairdresser, all about the hairdresser's future, business-wise, and as a top stylist, and that's what we support. Which the others don't do it as much as we do it. They do very, very little compared to us.
If someone's looking to aspire to make a million, even just like their first million, so they can do stuff like this and live their own dream lives, like what advice do you have for someone who's just getting started in your...
Well, realize number one, that what does rich mean? My son came home one day from Trinity, the local school he went to here. This is, almost 20 years ago. He was in grade school here. And he said, the kids in school said, Dad, that we're rich. Are we rich? What does that mean, Dad? And he was in kindergarten. I explained to him, son, some people think rich means you have lots of money, okay? But you can have lots of money, but be poor health and unhappy. That's not rich. Rich is, are we happy as a family? Oh, yeah, Dad, we are. Are we healthy? Yeah, we're healthy, Dad. We're rich. You go back and tell the kids that, yeah, we made it. American dream happened for us. But rich is really, are you happy and healthy? If you and your family are happy and healthy, you're just as rich as we are. And people have to understand, rich or successful isn't did you become a millionaire? Did you become a billionaire? Is that success? No. Success means how far have you gone in whatever you're doing. I was a janitor one time in high school, a very successful janitor. Stewart and Stewart's Cleaner gave me a 25-cent an hour raise. When I was making $1.25, I was now making $1.50. For me in high school, I was one of the highest paid kids in the high school I went to. And everybody just, there weren't any jobs for kids then, and I was in high school. So I was a successful janitor because I cleaned it better than anybody else. And Stewart was a tightwad. He wouldn't give you anything, but he saw it without me even telling him. So success is how well do you do what you do, especially when nobody is looking. Do you wake up an extra half hour early because you find yourself working through midnight? Do you go to bed watching TV for the last 2 hours, get your mind things off of things, which is going to stop you from going to sleep? That TV's got to be off an hour before you go to sleep. Or would you read a book about success and go over what you could do the next day a little bit better than what you did before? Or how to knock on 2 more doors? Will you do it? Yeah. End of the day, no sales. What am I going to do? Knock on 2 more doors. Keep on going. That's success. Successful people do all the things unsuccessful people don't want to do.
Yeah. Do you have suggestions?
How's it feeling, bro?
How people can find the things they want to work on, or how do they get their customers? Like maybe some of the first steps. Because I think there's a lot of people. Maybe for you it's intrinsic. You're like, well, yeah, you find a great product. But I guess I'm curious for that early stage.
Well, if you find a great product, first thing is, who's going to use it? You got a great product here, right? That you invented. But now the next thing is, who is your end user? Okay, who's that going to be? Now all you got to do is connect the two. Is there a distributor out there that I could sell to that will sell directly to the end user? Or what do I have to do to get on the internet to be able to sell to the end user? So you find the product, who the end user is, and try to customize it more for that end user. And then in between figure out how that you're going to get to them. The other thing is too money. The big deal is money. I had no money when I started. I needed money. I worked into my price a 5% discount already. I already had it in mind, right? Because someone's going to say, no,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
not going to give you money up front.
All good.
The price, and this way people give you money on the spot. Now you have money to operate off of.
Another wicked piece. Thank you, brother. Connor Hutton.
American dream is very, very alive. Today, there's more of an opportunity. For example, for me to get stationery, I would go to a print shop where they would type set for $3.50. Name our P.O. box that cost me $16 in Universal City, right? So we'd have that typeset for us, and $3.50, and then we'd make a copy. And then for other copies for stationery, it was 4 cents a copy in those days off the Xerox machine. And then envelopes, same thing. You bought the envelope, they would run them for you, and they would charge you just a few cents each just to run them there for you. Today you have computers. There, we had nothing. We didn't have cell phones in those days. They were just being invented. They were gigantic things. So what do we have? An answering machine. So I had like a regular answering machine I bought and used a friend's phone. And that was their office. And they brought this English lady, who was a dear friend of mine, beautiful lady, Caroline. And she was so kind and wonderful. She put her voice on her machine so we looked bigger. It wasn't just a hairdresser living in Hawaii and his girlfriend in JP in LA, you know. We had an actual met with an English accent where she would go, hello, John called the Jesus. Oh, thank you for calling. We're all out now. Things are so busy, but I'll try to see if I can JP to call you back later, you know. Goodbye, thank you so much. Well, of course I'm going to call back later. There was nobody to call but me, so that's a very, very scary. So today, that's how we started. But we have the passion to work. And I see today many...
What's the best thing you can do for a slightly infected tattoo? Let it dry out, man.
Part-time at 7 years old.
And never go back to that tattoo list again. I've been tattooing now for nearly 10 years, 9 years, and I've never infected a tattoo. It's quite hard to infect a tattoo unless, you know, the client does something stupid, but it's, yeah, if it gets infected like within the first few days, you just need to let it dry out. This is why I tell my clients to let it dry heal for the first 2-3 days. Don't put no cream on it because bacteria can't grow in a dry environment. Bacteria can only thrive in a moist environment, a wet environment. So if you're creaming it, it's easier to get it infected if you keep it wet.
We had no money, and we had major cosmetic companies out there, obviously, that had money advertising. We had nothing other than door-to-door sales and the belief that what we had was really, really good. It was difficult, and people ask, when did you know you made it? Because you started out in your car and all that. And I tell them, well, I knew it after 2 years. And what was the big hurrah? The big hurrah was we could pay our bills on time. We were always late, you know. It's like we thought we have it made now. We can pay our bills on time. Paul Mitchell was my hairdressing partner at the time, and his girlfriend was just wonderful. She did a lot of our hair shows for us. Great lady, Jean Brock. We all had $2,000 each to split up. It was very exciting, you know. Plus our bills were paid on time. Then we knew we made it.
What regrets do you have? Do you have regrets working too much? Do you have any regrets around your career?
Zero regrets. There's a lot of things in life I would have done differently. We all would have done different things in life differently. But you can't change yesterday's newspaper. And that's something you got to get off your shoulder, all those regrets. God, I wish I didn't say so-and-so to so-and-so. Or I wish I would have done this differently and everything would be changed. You can't change it. And that's why you got to get off your back. And I didn't know that at the time when I started the business because I was so focused on how am I going to eat, how am I going to get money to pay this bill, and I'm 4 days late. You know, that was my focus. And later on, I learned that. You got to get all this stuff off your shoulder. All this stuff's got to get off your shoulder.
Please smash that like button, guys. 102 people watching, 63 likes.
We are today if it wasn't for the past. You want to be somebody different? You can't change the past, but you can change the future. We had a saying in the 60s, and that was this: today is the first day of the rest of your life. What was our saying? And it is. Today's the first day of the rest of your life. What changes do you want to make?
When you were starting out earlier today, what books or resources or people did you turn to?
I wish I had a mentor and I didn't. I wish I had mentors, I didn't, okay? And I wish I did. My mom was the closest thing to a mentor, always encouraging us. But when I sold encyclopedias door to door, it was the best trading I ever had because it's hard. It's
Thank you,
hard.
guys.
If you don't do it, you don't make any money. But there was a book there that I think is one of the
Let's try and get
greatest
to
books.
200 likes by the end of the video. That'd be great.
And it's probably 90, 100 years old, this book. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I give that book to anyone that I see really needs a helping hand dealing with people. And then I tell people also, and I tell your audience, when you talk to people, look them right in the eye. And if you feel uncomfortable looking them in the eye, look at them between the eyes or at their eyebrows. It looks like you're looking them in the eye. Don't ever give a presentation, look everywhere else. You'll lose everyone's attention. Just little things. And smile. Be happy. Kind. If I ever had a secret to a lot of my success in relationships with people, it's kindness. I'm a kind person. And I've learned that throughout the years. After my wild biker days in my 20s, when I was doing time, right, you know the story, I learned how just wonderful kindness is. I was always kind of kind all my life, but even became kinder. Kindness is wonderful. You feel good, they feel good. When you talk to somebody, you talk to them with kindness. You don't talk down to them. When you want to help somebody out, you do it because of kindness. What's a great life to you? A great life is being happy and healthy. That's a great life, to be happy and healthy. I've got some people that I know, whether it's on Native American.
What smoke, which stroke do you use? Hello, Punu. What stroke do you have set up? I have the 4.1 cam.
I've seen just too many people that were extremely wealthy, but they weren't really healthy or happy. Great example, this is, I can tell the audience, and you guys can look this guy up, and he was probably the first billionaire that I know of anyways, and that was J. Paul Getty Jr. He started something called, I think it was Occidental Petroleum, or all kinds of things. Well, he's in oil and gas. Came from Oklahoma, had a big castle in England, right? Big castle there. And the famous story of him was, he picked up, this is the richest man in the world. He picks up his telephone bill once and sees there's a bunch of toll calls. We used to have toll calls. You guys don't have any anymore. Where if you called across the city, you paid a few more cents. You called international, you paid more. If you went from London to East London, you paid a few more pennies more. So there's this charges. He thought, well, they can't do this. So he put a payphone in his house. So somebody wanted to make a telephone call. They go, the payphone. Anyways, he had an interview. One of the few interviews he ever had in his life. And the lady asked him the question, you've got to be the happiest person in the world. Would you have changed anything? Now he's up in years at this time, right? Would you have changed anything in your life? He says, yes. I would have changed and given the majority of my wealth away. He says, I'm the most powerful man in the world right now. I could change governments. I have so much money. I can change things, and I do. He says, but I haven't been happy. I've been married 7 times, even had a grandchild that sat in his ear with some guys from the mafia for ransom, right? He says, I've been married 7 times, didn't love any of them. He says, I've been unhappy. It's too late for me now. I would have given the majority of my fortune away just to have been happy in my life. I was never really happy. Okay. Happiness, very, very important. But be kind. Being kind to others also is part of you being happy. If you're not kind, you're not going to be happy.
If you like this video, you are going to love this video right up here. We talked to another billionaire founder, the founder of Kinko's. Now we turned $5,000 into $2.6 billion. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already, you want to make sure you get every single one of our videos. So go and subscribe. Uncle Noah loves you, and I'll see you out there.
I'm here with MrBeast, the brilliant mastermind behind some of the most popular videos ever created. Do you think you'll ever make a video that gets 1 billion views?
I think maybe one of the videos we've already made might get 1 billion views.
Which one do you think?
Probably like the Squid Game video with enough time. I mean, it's only a year old and it's already on 300 million, or some of the newer ones we've done have gotten like 100 million views in a month. So those 4 projected over 10 years, because YouTube's not going anywhere. Probably one of those.
So over time, they don't necessarily plateau.
It's interesting. Oh, we're a little bit jumping right
Yeah,
now. I love it. It's good. So I'm a firm believer that it's much easier to hypothetically get 10 million views on one video than 100.
I'm using a 5-round shader bug pin.
Much easier, in my opinion, is like
0.30.
if you make a really good video, it's just so evergreen and it never dies. Because YouTube, when you open up YouTube and look at the videos, they're just serving you whatever they think you'll like the best, you know. And so if you just make a great video and it's constantly just above every other video, you know, even 2 years down the road, then they'll just keep serving it and never stop, you know, which is why it's much easier to make one great video than a bunch of mediocre ones.
What about 1 billion subscribers? You've passed PewDiePie's the most subscribed to YouTube channel. When do you think you get 1 billion?
Let me do some math real quick. So around 120.
So you think about this?
No, I don't, honestly. Because one thing you'll find if you want to gain subscribers, if you want to get views, if you want to make money, and almost any metric in this video creation space, if you want something, it all comes back to, okay, well then just make great videos. So instead of like focusing on all these arbitrary vanity metrics, I just kind of focus on the one thing that gets me all that, which is make good videos. And I do think we will, when they hit 1 billion subscribers. I don't have a plan on going anywhere. Even though we're only on 120 million right now on the main channel, I think like we're doing around 10 million a month now, and YouTube just, I just don't see it going anywhere. And I don't see any reason why I'd ever get burnt out or quit. So I think with enough time, yes.
I wanted to ask you those family-friendly questions before I go to the dark questions. So now,
We have dark questions. Why not? But if you wanted to hook them, you would start off with the dark questions. That's how you get them.
okay. Well, let me ask you about a Twitter poll you posted, a $10,000 death poll. You tweeted, if someone offered you $10,000, but if you take it, a random person
When you're ready, I need to
dies,
leak.
Yeah,
would
man.
you take the $10,000? And 45% of people said yes. That's, at least at the time I checked, 850,000 people committing murder for just $8.5 billion in total. So what do you learn about human nature from that?
That's a good question. Honestly, this is like late at night when I do that up too. I was just like, this will be a funny thing. I assumed it'd be 90% no and like 10% yes. But there are a lot of serious people. For you guys listening, I just did this random Twitter poll. I was like, would you take 10 grand if it meant someone random in the world died? And a lot of the replies on this tweet were like, hell yeah, why not? And I was just not expecting that. And so I don't really know. I mean, I feel like your take would be better than mine.
Was that disturbing to you, surprising to you?
A little bit, yeah. But obviously a lot of the people were trolling.
Yeah.
But I actually, when you read through those replies, I do think like 10% of them were like dead serious.
Well, I think sometimes the trolling and the lulls reveal a thing we're too embarrassed to admit about the darker aspects of our nature. So I don't know if you listen to Dan Carlin's Hardcore History podcast. He has a episode on painfotainment, which he describes throughout history how humans have been really attracted to watching the suffering of others. So public executions, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he believes that's in all of us. That, for example, if something like a YouTube or a different platform streamed a public execution or streamed the torture of another human being, a lot of people would say that's deeply unethical, but they will still tune in and watch. And that we're attracted to that drama, and especially the most extreme versions of that drama. And so I think part of the lulls reveals something that's actually true in that ball. That, like,
Your answer is so much better than mine.
do you think about that? Maybe even with the Squid Game. Like, so I think how many views does the Squid Game currently have? 300 million?
Yeah.
Something like this. So just imagine, thought experiment, how many views that video would get if it was like real.
Yeah,
Squid Game.
assuming YouTube was like, we'll turn a blind eye, we won't take it down. Yeah, I mean, obviously it probably have billions of views.
How do you think you'll die? What do you think it would be doing a video?
Probably doing something dumb like going to space when I'm older, like trying to go to Mars or something like that. I know for a fact it won't be on a video. Every video we do with safety experts and stuff like that, so it's not really risk. But yeah, I could see myself like, after 1 million people go to Mars or something like that, I'd probably be like, what, let's go, and something like that maybe.
So not in the name of the video, just
No.
for the hell of it.
Heck no.
Are you open to taking risks when you shoot videos? You just went to Antarctica. I mean, you're putting yourself in the line a little bit, right?
Of course, but we had that video in the works for 3 years, and then we consult with tons of experts, radar the entire path we're gonna walk beforehand to see if there's crevasses. So we know there's no crevasses. We do training, we consult with experts, and we have survival guides there with us, and monitor the weather and everything. So it's like if any variable that where we could get harmed, we just pre-plan for it. Same thing with buried alive. Like I had David Blaine spent a week underground, and so I consulted with him and consulted with basically anyone who ever buried themselves alive. The coffin we used to bury me, we did so many tests. Like that coffin was buried 10 times before I was, for way longer than 50 hours. It tested the airflow and everything to the point where I was safer in that coffin underground than I was above ground. Like, so we just tend to just not leave anything up to chance,
Another strange question then. So you recorded these videos to yourself, 5 years, 10 years from now. Have you recorded a video that's to be released once you die?
Well, first off, I am just glad that not every one of your questions have to do with like views or things like that. It's nice getting different questions. So this is good. No, seriously. No, but it's fine because a lot of people just be like, how much money do you make? You know, it's just something that everything's always about money now for when people talk to me. So it's nice. But for the videos I made, for you guys who probably don't follow me too closely, when I had 8,000 subscribers and I was a teenager, I filmed a bunch of videos and scheduled them years in the future. And I said, I filmed one where I was like, hire me in a year. And the video went up a year later. And it was like, hey, I think you'll have 100,000 subscribers.
Do you want to go for a lick?
Hire me in 5 years. I was like, hey, in 5 years, I think you'll have 1 million. And then one that hasn't come out yet.
So it's looking good, bro.
Was hire me in 10 years. And I tried
Very
to
cool.
10 years later how many subs I got.
Very
So he's
cool.
referring to. And yes, there are some that are.
Let me go through some of these. How much voltage are you using? I've definitely.
I remember because I filmed these though, like.
I've
7 years ago. But,
I've answered a lot of these questions. You can rewatch this video
You know, if I'm dead, then I'm currently just in a coffin.
and find that out. Bro, what happened with the big bus? Yeah, man. Millie, she's okay. Yeah, Millie's all good.
And so, yeah,
Millie's fine now.
Like if I knew I was gonna die of like cancer or something, 3 months to live.
Have you started adding whites to your grey wash? No way. I'd never do that. Never, ever do that.
So it's like I'm still alive.
Bro, which needle was best for fur? Round liner, round shader? I use a Magnum for fur. Only on really short fur, like on the nose or whatever, I'll probably use a round liner, like a 3-round liner.
I only had 30 days to live. What would I do? And for me, I would try.
I just checked out the Acus on site. I must say it looks cool, but does it double the awesomeness of the wand? Oh, mate, it quadruples the awesomeness of the wand. It's six
Yeah, it's kind of immortality.
it's 6
but
machines in
also
one,
kind
dude.
of
Like you
full
can't,
on the
you know,
concept
you have to
side.
buy all 3
Yeah, you
wands
can
to get
design the physical space
even
more
half of that.
versus in the digital space.
What the Acus can do. It's
Actually, I recorded a video like that.
it's one of them, man. You know.
Some concerns.
But the ones are good machines, but you know they're only suited for particular styles. That each wand is suited for either black and grey shading or you know color packing or lining. You know, there's nothing in between that, and this is where the Acus excels even more so because even though the ones are good, it's just the Acus just far outperforms the ones in all areas. Thank you for the likes on the video, guys. I appreciate you. Please subscribe.
You know what's funny?
Let's try and hit 200 likes by the end of the video.
Probably the only 2 people that have made videos for when we die. It's like such a niche thing, and the fact that we're bonding over it's kind of funny.
I think people should think about doing that.
Hard.
It's not just about YouTube, it's also social media. Just think about it. Like, there's gonna be a last tweet and a last, I don't know, Facebook post and a last Instagram post.
Very cool.
And,
Yeah, when the hyena goes above that, I'll probably
I
maybe
feel
like
there's some aspect
try and get the hyena looking
that's
more this way instead of so
meditative
side
to
on.
just even consider and
I
make
think
it
that'd be
like
quite
that.
cool.
And also,
Yeah.
it's a way for the people that love you to kind of celebrate.
Do you think
sure.
that would help them cope or not? Like if someone randomly
And,
watching this
I'll
did
show you what I've
film
seen
a
from
video,
the back actually.
you know, for
Yeah,
if they
cool.
accidentally died in some freak accident,
I think it's
due
gonna
to
hurt like a
family, do you think that would?
motherfucker.
Is it?
It was like a
How
baby.
are you
I think
feeling
it
about them
would help.
fuels? Good.
It depends.
Them
There's
fuel
like
drinks.
They're
They're good, aren't they?
Hey mom,
More than
Banging.
you're seeing this, you know, it means
I might have to have one for dinner
That's
tonight.
how you intro it.
That's the opening. I just want you to know, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and then I guess you could say it in a kind of funny way, but and just talk about the things that mean a lot to you. Because otherwise, you're at the risk of the last post you have is like I don't know, talking shit about like
McDonald's.
exactly.
That's, and then you're dead.
Something
That's it.
dramatic like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
think
very
it's
cool, man.
it's,
Yeah, man.
Stoics meditate on
Cool.
death.
That is
every
really
day
cool.
In the same way you kind of meditate
Nice
on
zebra
your death when you
pattern
make a
in
video
there.
like that.
Yeah, like
Because
that.
it's actually not just even talking
Yeah.
to yourself, it's talking to
Yeah,
the
hard.
Right,
And it,
what
like,
second
Yeah,
for some
man.
reason, at least for me, they made it very concrete.
Very
There's
cool.
going to be an end. And I'm like, it's over for me. If I'm making the video, it's over for me. This is an interesting thought experiment. I recommend people try it. Okay. Are you afraid of death, by the way?
Yes. It's hard because
Master, is he tapping out? No, he just went for a leak. Thanks for elaborating on the Acus. No worries, man.
it's a billion square years. And it's just.
What's your grey wash ratio? Dude, if you want to check out my grey wash drop system and stuff, subscribe to my Instagram.
I would not think about until I'm like 80.
I'm dropping new exclusive content every week on there, so
hopeful that someone like Elon or one of these like freak smart people will just like be like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna figure out a way where
it's
we
like
can slow down
£7 a
YouTube,
month.
get it
It's
where,
super
we
cheap.
Be 200-300 years old, and just like set their sights on
Yeah,
that, and then
yeah,
just
man.
kinda
We're
save
just
us.
taking a break.
So it'd be
We're
really
gonna be
nice.
jumping
Like,
back
it's
into it
almost
now, though.
absurd to think that
I'd say we've only
it won't
probably
grow
got like an hour to go,
by
man.
slow down aging.
It's going in
We'll
really
live to be, like,
fucking easy.
120, 130, and then
Very
that extra
nicely,
time,
actually.
We'll figure out somewhere we can live to be
I'm good, man.
200.
Thank
Like,
you.
obviously not immortal, but I don't see
yeah,
how
it's
in
super
my
cool.
lifetime the life expectancy doesn't just expand.
Well, it also could be that the immortality is achieved in the digital realm. Like it could be long after you're gone as a MrBeast run by a ChatGPT type system.
Exactly. Yeah, that consumes everything I ever said, everything I ever wrote. I don't want that. I don't want to. One of you
Nice.
smart people out there, figure it out. I'll keep you entertained, but I need you to figure out how to keep me alive. Give me till 200.
Yeah,
I'm
man, that's
absolutely
cool.
happy.
Well, that's funny. Who owns the identity of MrBeast? What's the physical body of them?
What's going on?
Like, is it illegal to create another MrBeast that's ChatGPT based? I don't know what the laws are on that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, once I'm dead, I don't care.
But you just said you did care. I mean, there could be a AI like mini MrBeast that are created after you're gone.
Yeah, I mean that'd be cool to be able to like train up a model and let them loose so my content lives on. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but it somehow feels like it diminishes the
Yeah,
value you contribute.
yeah.
It's an authentic, but it's also there's some aspect to the finiteness of the art being necessary for
Oh,
its
100%.
greatness.
Yeah. The second that thing starts spamming out videos, the videos lose all meaning. It's pointless. It's money grab.
If you ran YouTube for how long should you run it? For a year. How would you change it? How would you improve it?
It's hard because, you know, obviously I'm biased because we're doing really well, but I feel like when I open up YouTube on my television, I get the videos I want to watch. I don't know. I don't ever open it and wonder like, what are these? What are these 10 videos on my homepage? When I click on a video on my suggestion, I don't ever wonder what these are. Like and maybe it's because I'm very adamant about like the kind of videos I watch, and I try not to watch videos that I don't want to get recommended more because that's how I think. But I'm very happy with how it is at the moment. I think one thing though that I just hate with the passion is the comment section on YouTube. It's just so bad. But I know that's not something that's gonna 10x the growth of the platform. But if you think about it, you go to Reddit to read comments, and somehow like usually the top 20 posts on a popular Reddit post are not spam. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever clicked on something on the front page of Reddit and then most upvoted reply to it is like, go check out my site right here, and it's like trying to scam you out of $1,000.
Yeah.
I can't even think of one instance I've ever had that happen. So, like Reddit, it's so nice to click on posts and just see what people have to say. And I almost wish like you had that same feeling when you read the comments on a YouTube video. Instead, it's like it's so many people just copy and pasting, so many bots that just grab the top comment from your previous video, paste it over, so the top comments on every video are the same. And the things that break through that are just scammers trying to get you to give them $1,000 for a free, fake ad.
That comment section is one of the most lively on the internet. So it'd be amazing if YouTube invested in creating an actual community, like where people could do high effort comments and be rewarded for it, like on Reddit.
Yeah.
Like actually write out a long
That
thing.
would make me so happy. Because like when I upload a video, I usually go to Twitter to see feedback. Like I read my comments and I'll flip through newest, but it's just I feel like Reddit and Twitter just give me so much better filtered feedback. Especially now that with Twitter Blue, because people pay $8 a month. I've noticed like any tweets I get from verified users now, they're usually not just garbage troll takes. Like these are people paying $8 a month. Like they're usually relatively sensible. And so it's been pretty nice. Like after I upload a video, I just go on the verified tab on Twitter and just see what people have to say. And anyways, I live for the day that YouTube's like that.
What do you think about Twitter? What do you think about all the fun activity happening recently since Elon
Yeah.
bought Twitter?
I think he should make me CEO, like I tweeted.
Well, I should say sort of we just like a couple hours ago had a conversation with Elon, and you guys had an exchange of some excellent ideas. So yeah, I legitimately think, obviously you're exceptionally busy, but I legitimately think it would be awesome if you somehow participated in the future of Twitter,
Yeah, it would be fun.
because there's so much possibility of different ideas. First in the sort of the content, like dissemination, hosting, and all the different recommendations, like the search and discovery, all the things that YouTube does well.
I think the most exciting thing is he's willing to move fast, and so I think there's going to be a lot of interesting things that come out of it because he's just moving quick, and a lot of these more mature platforms just take years to do the simplest stuff, and they're very bureaucratic. So it's gonna, I mean, it'll be interesting to see which way it goes when you just kind of take a move quick, break things, whatever type approach to social media. I'm actually pretty curious to see what features he rolls out.
So what will be your first act as Twitter CEO? Okay.
I gotta get hired.
What do you think about video on the platform? I mean, do you think that's an interesting, or is it like messing with the medium, the nature of the platform?
I think Twitter will always be closer to TikTok than it is to YouTube. Like, at least in its current form. Like, I don't see 20-minute, 1 hour long videos or whatever. Even 15-minute videos being watched over there. I see it more as like the short, snappy stuff closer to TikTok.
But at the same time, Twitter is a really good comment section for the internet.
I mean, it's almost weird why doesn't Twitter allow you to embed YouTube videos? Like, why does that? You should just ask Elon that. Like, I don't know if that's a YouTube thing, but when a YouTuber posts a video, why do they have to link to YouTube? Why can't they just embed it in Twitter and just play it there? I mean, wouldn't that just solve a lot of problems?
Yeah, but then the two companies have to agree to integrate each other's content.
I don't know, but it seems like a win-win. I mean, well, it's more of a win for Twitter because then people don't have to use the platform. I mean, that'd be the easiest.
But who gets, like, when you watch the ads in a YouTube video that's embedded in Twitter, who gets the money?
It would still be YouTube, but at least then, right now, people just post a link and it takes you off Twitter. It just kills your session time on Twitter.
That's really interesting. But yeah, because the Twitter, whatever the dynamics of the comments, especially once the spam bots are taken care of, Twitter just works. It's really so Reddit is a nice comment section for the internet. It's like slower paced, more deliberate, like higher effort. Twitter's like this high paced, like ephemeral kind of stream. But there's the upvoting, the downvoting works much better because you could do retweeting, right? Because the social network is much stronger than it is on YouTube. Like the interconnectivity.
Yeah, on Reddit you're gonna get the top replies are gonna be the most refined ones, whereas Twitter stuff close to the top that's not super refined. But like you're saying, it's more off the cuff stream of consciousness, which a lot of people prefer. It's a little more personal.
How do you think Twitter compares to YouTube?
Do you draw as well?
How do you
No.
see its future unroll in
I do not
2023?
draw.
I mean, I think YouTube's gonna be YouTube, and not much is really gonna change. But it's gonna.
I just
keep growing
study, man. I
because,
study artwork. I
that's
study light,
just what it
light
does.
and dark. I
'Cause
study
it's owned by
light
Google.
sources.
But Twitter, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things like you can't predict if a year from now an economy is going to be in a recession or booming, and I think Twitter's kind of the same thing. One thing for certain, a lot
It
of
kind of
things
gives me
are gonna be rolled
confidence
out,
when
but
I'm
who knows?
tattooing and maybe the stencil rubs off or whatever. I know, like I've got it in my mind where the light source is based off of what I've done.
Well, yeah,
So I know kind of
think
like
that
how
Twitter
to
responded
react.
the one where he was saying that they, users will jump over if Twitter could potentially pay more than other platforms. And I was just saying, obviously, because Google has Google AdWords, and that's
It's a good
Google's
question,
whole
though.
thing. It's putting ads on stuff. They've been doing it better than anyone else in the world for a very long time. It's very unlikely in the next few years that Twitter's gonna just magically, or any platform, give a creator the ability to make higher CPMs than on YouTube. It's kind of crazy. Like some creators in December, Q4 because the ad rates are higher because of Christmas and everything. Some creators literally make like $30-40 per 1,000 views, and that's after YouTube's cut. Like it's almost like hard to think about, like how high the RPMs get. And even then, once you pull out of finance and cars, the high CPM niches, and you move into just normal stuff, it's still just crazy. The sheer volume of creators and the fact that all of them get these multi-dollar CPMs at scale, it's pretty beautiful.
So you do, I don't know what you would call them, but like integrated ads in your videos, and you do, I would say masterfully. It's like part of the
Are you
video.
talking about brand deals?
Brand deals, is that what
Yeah.
you would call that?
Yeah.
So it's a brand deal, it's part of the video. It's still really exciting to watch, and yet there's a plug for the brand.
In general, just brand deals, since you brought it up, integrating them well. I think that's something a lot of creators don't do. Like, they'll just do a brand deal out of the blue. They'll just be filming a video, and then around the 3-minute mark, just start talking about a random company.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you don't want viewers to click away and you want people to not get pissed off and call you a sellout, you got to find a way to integrate it into content. And ideally, use the money in the video to make it better. Like, the easiest thing you do when you do a brand deal is just tell people how you're using money from the brand deal to make your content better. And if you do that, like, no one cares. Now they're supporting you for it. And you go from being a sellout to like, oh, I'm doing this to make better videos for you guys.
I don't know if you can share, but would those brands when you have discussions with them, are they strict about how long you need to be talking about it, or is it more about they're leaving control to you about the artistic element of it?
The problem is the ones who don't give us the artistic element, we just don't really work with anymore. Because it's just, we get 100 million views a video now, and I can confidently say I know how to entertain them and convert them better than these random brands. So, if they don't give us that freedom, I just won't work with them.
You have that leverage, but for smaller creators,
It's a lot harder. Yeah, and they're gonna just say 45 seconds. Here's what you say. Take it or leave it, and it's like pretty brutal. Because I think just in general, if brands were more accommodating to let creators tell their story of the brand and talk about the brand in a way that felt a little more natural, I think it'd be less cringe, and people would be less likely to go, and tap, skip, and obviously it would convert better. But they're just so afraid, and they want this standardized thing. Say these words, and 45 seconds, right here at this 3-minute mark.
yeah, I often think about how to resist that.
You just don't do them, though, right?
Not on YouTube, right? I do, on the audio, I do ads at the very beginning, and I say you can skip them if you want.
The brand loves that.
I don't like. The point is they. So the funny thing about podcasts is different than YouTube videos. Podcast people actually do listen to ads a lot because it's a slower pace and they like the creative voice, like talking about the thing. But in general, I just don't believe you should be talking about a thing for a minute exactly, and that's going to be effective. I want to see the data for that. I think what's much more effective is the way you do ads, which is like integrate into the content, like put a lot of effort into making a part of that, like doing the brand deals. It's difficult to have that conversation. It's like a very strenuous conversation you have to have with brands. You have to have each one at a time. And I just wish there was more of a culture to say like the quality of the ad read matters a lot more than the silly parameters, like the timing of it, like how long it is, the placement of it, all that kind of stuff.
What percentage of your viewers do you think have seen one of my videos before?
What percentage of the viewers on YouTube, right?
Yeah, of your viewers.
Of the viewers on YouTube, though.
Yes, yeah.
Most of the people.
Okay, sure, or all of them. It's just interesting because you're speaking very specifically like about my brand deal process, and so in my head I'm like, I wonder what percentage of these people even have any idea what he's talking about.
That's interesting. I love the thinking about numbers.
The whole time we were having this conversation, that's all I could think about. It's like, God damn it, there's probably like 50% of these people have no fucking clue what he's saying,
Probably.
and we're about to torture him for 5 minutes.
Yeah, probably.
But that's something I can't turn off in my brain.
Less than 50%. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is that exciting to you? That there's like 50% of people don't not watch the MrBeast video. Isn't that an opportunity to like?
Yeah, I guess it's an opportunity to grow. I don't know. Honestly, I was just kind of excited to hang out with you.
Yeah,
me
too.
too.
And it's
Today was a lot of fun.
Who cares if it's
So,
bikes?
so it was kind of like having a buddy to go along the journey as I'm just kind of eating shit, doing my normal grind. It was like kind of fun, and also you just say really wise stuff constantly. So honestly, no, I never even put any thought into like the demographics or what I could gain. It's just interesting because like my retention rate when you talk about something, I'm instantly like, what value are they going to get? How many of them are going to be interested? What percentage of people do I think will lose? And I'm like running all those calculations in the background, and that whole conversation, like the long, and it's just something I can't turn off. My like bells are like error, this is bad.
What are the different strategies for high retention for your videos and in general?
It's like how do you cook good food? You know what I mean? That's like the same kind of question.
I see. So there's so many different ways that you. So it boils down to, I mean, do you think it's at the level of a story, or do you think like literally watching 5 seconds at a time? Am I going to tune out here? Am I going to tune out here? Am I going to tune out here?
It's all of it. You need the overarching narrative, and then you also need the micro where every second, needs to be entertaining. And you basically, what's interesting is the longer people watch something, the more likely they are to keep watching. So you don't have to try as hard in the hypothetically back half of the video as you do at the front. Like, even right now, we're so deep into this where a lot of people listening are probably just going to keep listening relatively close to the end unless we just have a really boring part of this conversation because they're just in it. They're immersed. And so a big, like, to really boil it down to a simple level, you just want to get people where they're immersed in the content and then just kind of hold them there.
We had this discussion offline, and by the way, I should mention that this is like late at night.
It is. What time? It's 9 o'clock.
And I only slept 1 hour last night because I'm an idiot, and I flew to the wrong location.
Well, here, we're like, hey, let's just book you a hotel and a flight. He's like, no, I got it. We're like, you sure? We just do it. We always do this. He's like, no, I got it.
Just gonna have to rub it in.
I know. And then today, come to find out, he flew to the wrong airport. An airport with or a city with a similar name to ours.
Just same name.
Yeah.
Same name in a different state.
and I was like, that's why you should let us book it. And so he saw 1 hour of sleep, and he's literally been dying all day. Before this podcast, he downed like 2 things of coffee. We've been going all day hard.
Yeah, I've been, I got to interact with you. I should say that this gave me an opportunity to, I got a ride from a stranger, and it was an incredible person. I got to interact with him. So it's like there's so many kind people around here. Just like this kind of southern energy. And then I got to go to a diner because I could, there's only 1 hour between me arriving and having to fly out. So I went to a diner. There's a really kind waitress that called me honey. So that was a beautiful moment,
I was so confused. You tweeted about that, and like Steel was like my assistant was like, Lex isn't here yet. And I saw your tweet, and I was like, he's here. And Steel's like, no, he's still flying. I was like, like an hour ago, he just tweeted about a nice diner.
Yeah,
it was
a diner. It was a diner in a different state.
And then you had to fly over here. And then I called you, you didn't answer. I was like, I was like, something's not adding up.
Yeah, I feel like such an idiot because apparently the world has cities like Springfield, right? There's like every single state has a Springfield.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think that's
where?
that's like a Simpsons joke, right? That like it's the city is in the Simpsons is Springfield, and I think every single state, and most of them have a Springfield. And the same is true for like Georgetown. I think the most popular. I forget what the most popular was. There's like a list. People get when they run out of ideas, they just keep using the same.
They're your
joke.
Achilles heel.
Yeah, I got to meet a bunch of people from your team. It's just incredible human beings. So let me just ask on that topic. How do you hire a great team? Like, what have you learned about hiring for everything? For the main channel that you do, for the React the gaming channel, to MrBeast Burger, to Feastables, all that.
The big thing is, especially in this content creation, because it's not like anything that's done on Netflix or different content mediums. I really need people who are coachable and like really see the value in what I care about, because it's a very specific way of going about things, and it's a thing. There's no one like plug and play. Like if Netflix wanted to hire someone to do a documentary, there's probably tens of thousands of people you could hire that have worked on documentaries before. But if you want to hire someone to make super viral YouTube videos, like we do, there's just no one you can really pull from. Like sometimes I'll hire people from game shows, right? And they have all these preconceived notions about pacing and how a video should be, and you have to spend like the first year like breaking all these habits, and they think they're better than you. Like a lot of people in traditional think they're better, and they think their way is better than what we do. And so for me, it's almost easier to hire people that are just hard workers, that are obsessed and really coachable, and just train them how to like be good at content creation and production, than to hire someone from like traditional, which is the only way to really do it, because there's not that many YouTube channels that have scaled up. So it's not like there's a huge talent pool of people who've worked on YouTube channels. So it's easier just to train someone than just pull them from traditional, because traditional people just, I don't know, they have all these opinions and things, and they just think our way of going about things is dumb.
Yeah, so you want people who have the humility to have a beginner's mind, even if they have
And
experience.
see the value. Like actually, you'll still get it. It's so crazy. Like especially some of my other friends that are scaling up their YouTube channels. There's people that will come on and you'll ask them like, what do you want to be doing in 5 years? And instead of saying, oh, I want to be working on this channel, they'll be like, oh, I hope to be working on movies or this or that. And they see like working on a YouTube channel as a launch pad to go into traditional. And it's like, no, like you just don't get it.
This is the
This
future.
is the end goal. This is your career. And so I'm just so tired of having those kinds of conversations. Like I feel like people really should be coming around.
Are there like recurring interview questions that you ask? Is there ways to get?
Yeah, the biggest thing is like, what do you want to be doing in 10 years? And then their answer isn't, making content on YouTube or, if their answer is anything like movies or traditional stuff like that, it's like just a hell no. Like it just won't even remotely work.
Oh, so you really want people to believe in the vision of YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, it's like, oh, working here. You know what I mean?
So it's less about the medium and more about just being a great team that's doing epic stuff.
Yeah, well, and yeah, the media as well. Because it's hard to put it into words, but it's just two completely different ways of going about things. Like our videos aren't scripted, and it's a lot more run and gun. And if we hypothetically blow up a giant car or whatever, like you only have one take. You know what I mean? So And it's not scripted, and so you have to overfilm, overshoot things, overcompensate for like the dumb way of going about it. And a lot of traditional people would be like, well, just plan what you're gonna say, just plan the angle. So you can cut the cameras in half. You can save 50 grand here. You can save $75,000 editing, this and that. And it's like, yeah, but that's not authentic. That's blah blah. You get it. It's almost so obvious that it hurts to have to like constantly have these conversations, but it's the world we live in.
But there's also detail, like there's a taste. Like I've watched a bunch of videos with you, and it's clear to you that you've gotten really good. I don't know what the right word is, style or taste, to be able to know what's good and not in terms of retention, in terms of just stylistically, visually.
I don't have to think. I can just watch a video, and it just screams in my head. Like, this is what should change based on the million videos I've watched and all these viral videos I've consumed. Like, this is blah blah blah. What's optimal and things like that. It's almost like your brain's like a neural net. Like if you consume enough viral videos and enough good content that you just kind of start to like train your brain to like see it and see these patterns that happen in all these viral videos. And so that anytime I watch a video or a movie or anything, I just can't stop thinking about what is optimal. And so it's like it gives me a headache sometimes when I watch something too slow or I don't think is optimal. Obviously my taste isn't the end all be all, but that's something that kind of torments me, if that makes any sense.
Oh, you can't enjoy a slow movie.
No, I can't.
Movie.
And that's not to say
The
there's
retention on Godfather is horrible.
yeah, no, exactly. I've tried to watch that movie like 3 times, but that's not to say slow movies are bad. Like, there's an audience for it. It's just obviously not what I've trained my brain to like. And social media, and YouTube right now, like, there's just not the meta.
And in general, like you said, neural network, you're training your brain in part on actual data, right? So you're actually, it's data driven. So you're looking at, like, in terms of thumbnails and titles and different aspects of the first 5-10 seconds, and then throughout the video, the retention, all of that, you're looking at all of that for your own videos to understand how to do it better. So that's what the neural network is training.
Yeah. Basically, there are ways you can kind of see like the most viewed videos on YouTube every day and stuff like that. I just kind of consume those every single day. I've been doing that for way too many years. And you just start to notice patterns. Like the thumbnails on the most viewed videos are videos that go super viral, tend to be clear, tend to not have much clutter, tend to be pretty simple. Titles tend to be less than 50 characters. Intros tend to be this. Stories tend to be this. And you just kind of like, after you see those thousands and then tens of thousands at a time, it just starts to click in your head. Like, this is what it looks like, you know?
So how are you able to transfer that taste that you developed to the team? So for like, because you said like broad things, but I'm sure there's a million detailed things. Like what zoom to use on the face to use in the thumbnail, right? Like
the answer is whatever makes the best video. Because the problem is the more, which I have so many friends who are like this, they'll make like checklists for their editors. Like, this beat and this beat, and you need to have like a 3-part arc and then this. But the problem is that's how you, the more constraints you put on the team, the more repetitive and less innovation you get, and the more like, after 10 videos, people are gonna be like, all right, I've already seen this. So to me, and I'm 24, and I'm probably, my mindset will change in the next 10 years. I just haven't been in this industry too long, but the only way to like really make innovative content and keep things fresh is to not put constraints on, or put as little as possible. And so that's why I'm very hesitant on all that stuff, because the more I say, the more they're gonna be like, oh, then that's what we do. And then, I'll say one time like, oh, ideally there's a cut every 3 seconds. And then next thing you know, every video there's a cut every 3 seconds or whatever. So it's hard because I try to give as little as little facts or as possible, and more just make suggestions, if that makes any sense.
you mean publicly or to your team?
To my team, yeah.
So you talked about sort of teaching your voice or your style, whatever we want to call it, to other people on the team so they can be kind of a MrBeast replacement. So what's the process of teaching that? So you don't want to...
No, I got you. So you're more talking about like what I would call almost like cloning, right? Like Tyler and other people like that. Yeah. So when we were hanging out today, I was showing him how we have multiple people in the company. It's almost like talking to the camera to have it.
Yeah, he turns slowly to the camera.
I was like, have it.
Is it weird to you to not be looking at the camera?
This whole interview, I constantly have been turning towards the camera, looking at him, talking to him.
Yes.
It's a habit. Because my whole life, I've just been talking to a camera.
Who are you thinking about when you're looking at the camera? Do you like imagine somebody?
I'm fully thinking about the person just sitting, watching it. And I almost, it's weird, when I'm looking at the camera, I don't see a camera. I'm like in a haze, picturing what the viewer is seeing when they watch it, if that makes sense. And that's where I'll be saying things and or doing something, and then like when I'm watching, I'm like, that's not what I want, and then I'll freeze up. It's very weird when I'm filming, and for people who haven't worked with me too much, they'll think like, I don't know, it's very weird, like how I go about it, because I'll just be doing whatever, like lighting a firework. All right, this is a $1,000 firework, and I'll go to light it, and I'll like freeze, because in my head I'm like, I don't know, I don't like how that flowed or how that shot looked, because it's weird. I can perfectly picture what I'm filming by just looking at the camera and then putting myself through the lens of the camera while making content. And I can do it at the same time.
So you're like real-time editing.
In my head. Yeah, that's something that didn't at the start come natural to me, but in the last probably like 5 years, it's happened. And so I would say it's one of my greatest strengths, but I don't know how I developed it. But anytime I'm filming anything, like it's almost like the right side of my brain, I just can just look at it and I see exactly what I'm filming and I can just picture it.
Well, it's probably recording the video, being the talent for the video, and then watching the editing and like analyzing it carefully, and do that over and over
Yeah,
and
you
over
do
and
that
over and over. You
10,000
develop,
times, yeah.
you do the editing more than being in front of the camera. So like you start to see yourself from that third person perspective.
Exactly.
Then maybe that actually helps with the nerves a bit too. Like you see it as creating a video versus performing. Right?
Yeah, I think so. You know, it's weird. I've never been nervous talking to a camera. It's harder for me to talk to a person than it is to talk to a camera. Which I feel like a lot of people say that though, that are whatever, make content, right?
Interesting.
I've heard that so many times. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm just awkward in that.
Maybe they're practiced. To me, it's, I mean, both are terrifying, but being in front of the camera by yourself is most.
So much easier.
Really?
Yeah, so much easier. I prefer it a million times over. But that's my whole life, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why it's interesting. Like you spent more of your time talking to people. It comes natural, and I talk to a piece of plastic.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're talking to a person too. They're just standing on the other side of the camera.
Yeah, there's just a pixel on the screen.
So cloning. How do you achieve that?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's all rapid. So I was showing him that I have a lot of people in the company who are able to think like me and basically make decisions like I would make if I was like. If you were asked, hey, in this video, should we climb a mountain or should we dig a hole, right? And like, you know, they would pick the same answer I picked 90+% of the times. And so like, one example is Tyler, who I was showing you, but he was pitching some content, and like you could see, like this, he was on point. And basically, for just 4 or 5 years, we just spent an absurd amount of time together and worked on every single video together. We worked side by side, and same thing with my CEO James. He literally lived with me for a couple of years. I'm a big fan of just like finding people who are super obsessed and all in and A players that, you know, they really just want to be great, and then just dumping everything I have in them.
And then you were saying, 'cause I'd love to find that and develop that. You were saying you're basically for a long time just said everything you were thinking to them.
Exactly. Like James, the guy who's basically my right hand man right now, for 2 years he lived with me, and we probably talked on average over those 2 years 7 hours a day. I mean, anytime I had a phone call, I'd throw it on speaker, and I'd let him listen. Anything I was reading, any content I was consuming, like really just training his brain to think like me, so that way he could just do things without my input, without me having to constantly watch over him or give him advice. And that's where we've gotten. Like, so for the first 6 months, he didn't do anything. He just studied me and studied everything I cared about and how I spoke and blah blah. And then the next 6 months, he started taking on some responsibilities, and now he can just run the company. And you know, I don't ever really have to check in on him. Like most of the decisions he makes are exactly what I would do. And so I call that cloning. I don't know what other people would, but it's just like finding people that are really obsessed and they just kind of really want it, and just being like giving them an avenue to like get it, if that makes any sense.
Another way to see it is you're converging towards a common vision, and that makes like brainstorming much more productive.
Yeah, it just makes it where I don't have to be so involved in everything, because I just have these people I know will think like I will, at least relatively close to it. So I can kind of almost be in multiple places at once, per se. And so these things that, you know, I still approve every idea we film, and you know, everything before we film and all the creative, I approve it. But I don't have to like be in the weeds and nuances and do all this minor stuff. I can just let them handle it. I can just do the more macro things.
I got a chance to sit in to a lengthy brainstorming session with Tyler and others.
Yep.
That was really cool. Can you talk about the process of that? Of people pitching ideas and you pitching alternatives, or shutting down ideas, and just going like plowing through ideas very
I mean, you kind of just described exactly what we did. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but the ideas are really, I really good at just tossing out like different categories of ideas, and then also fine tuning them to see like how do I change. You think about the titles and the thumbnails.
I work so well off of inspiration. It's like it's something like give me any work. I don't know. Maybe
Space.
Space. Yeah, like I went to space. You know, what happens if you blow up a nuke in space? Or I went to the moon. I went to Mars. Right? Because you said that one word, it was able to inspire me to come up with 4 ideas. And so that's just it's for me. If you the way to get 100 million views on videos, you need something original, creative, something people really need to see. Ideally, never been done before. All these like things, and so you need like if you want to consistently go super viral, you need just a constant stream of ideas. And the only way I've really found that I can consistently come up with 100 million view videos is to intake inspiration and then see what my brain outputs. And so that's kind of at its core foundation what I'm doing there. It's just like intaking a lot of random inspiration to see what spawns in my mind so I can output it.
But the neural network of your brain is generating the video, the title, the thumbnail, all like
Exactly.
jointly. Right?
Exactly, and that only comes because I spent 10 years of my life just obsessively studying all that stuff.
Because I mean, it seems like you would literally potentially shut down a video just because you can't come up with a good title.
Yeah,
Or a
100%.
good thumbnail.
Or a thumbnail. Yeah, I mean, that's what happened to 70% of those in that pitch session. I was just like, oh, what was one of them? Genius versus 100 people? Or
Yeah, like maybe average intelligence versus genius, something
yeah.
like that. Or,
Yeah, I was like, what the heck is the thumbnail? Even if the title was good.
Yeah.
I just, so many. But yeah, people don't click, they don't watch.
That's so interesting. But you developed over time the ability to kind of give it what makes for a good title? Short?
Not just short. It's also, I mean, if someone reads it, are they like? Do they have to watch it? Is it just so intrinsically interesting that it's just gonna fuck with them if they don't click on it? You know what I mean?
So it doesn't have to be short, but it has to be like you almost want to have a retention to word by word meaning.
Ideally, it's a title also that, you know, because the titles don't live in a vacuum, right? So it has to lead into the content. So ideally, the title represents content that you'd want to watch for 20 minutes. So if it's a 20-minute video and the title is "I stepped on a bug," it's not gonna, because it's all of it combined. The click-through rate is gonna be much lower. And then if it was like a 5-second video, people might click it. So you gotta, like, even nuances of the length of the video based against the title will affect whether people want to click it, because sometimes they just all add up. I mean, it's that, yes, ideally you want it below 50 characters, because above 50 characters on certain devices, you run the chance of it going ... So like, I took a light pole and I saw how many dollar bills I could stack on top, and then it would just go ... because it's too long and it can't finish it. And that's the worst thing, because then people don't even know what they're clicking on, and so it's gonna do even worse. Short, simple, ideally, and just so freaking interesting they have to click, and it is a good segue into the content, and it represents the length of the content.
And there's probably stuff it's hard to convert into words for you, like I stepped on a bug versus stepping on a bug versus MrBeast stepped on a bug
Yeah,
versus
well, I mean, that
bug stepping
it's funny you
video.
bring that up. So it's like, yes, the more extreme the opinion, typically the higher the click-through rate. If you can, like, pay it off in the content, then it just supercharges it. So like,
Oh, so you have a kind of estimate of the extreme.
like this water, right? You're like, Fiji water sucks. Yeah, that'd be fine. If you said Fiji water is the worst water bottle, or the worst water I've ever drank in my life,
Yeah.
way more extreme opinion would do way better.
You have to deliver.
Yeah, but then you have to deliver, because the more extreme you are, the more extreme you have to be in the video.
Yeah. That's almost inspiration for you to step up.
Yeah, but you can be more extreme in a positive way. A lot of
Right.
people, it's easier though. Positive, negative clickbait is much easier than positive clickbait. It just is. It's so much easier to get negative clicks, and so a lot of people are just, in my opinion, you know, a little bit lazier, and they just take the route like, oh, well, this one gets the same amount of clicks, and it's easier, less effort.
The positive one is doing a large number of numbers of something. Like I spent this number of hours doing this.
Well, whatever. If you just wanted to help people, or right, it's just harder to get 10 million views on a video helping people than it is to get 10 million views on a video tearing down a celebrity. You know what I mean, or whatever negative video you want to insert there.
Well, that said, most of your videos are pretty positive. So
Yes.
what's
But not a lot of people do those kinds of videos because they're hard.
yeah, they're hard.
Yeah.
Some of that is giving away money, right?
Yeah.
What's the secret to that? How do you do that right?
Yeah.
Like
Give away money, or
in a video to make it compelling.
um,
Is it so? There's a number that is better than another number, right?
the higher number is always better than the
Is
lower
it?
number. Yeah, for the most part. And you know, it's interesting. Like some videos will give away $1 million, some videos will give away $500,000. There's not really, I guess I'm retracting what I just said. I was more joking with that, but there's no difference whether I put 500K or a million. There's probably not even really a difference between 100K or a million. I haven't really looked into it. Like some of our most of the videos are us giving away $1 million, and sometimes the $1 million videos just don't do as well as the other ones. So, and there's a certain point where a dollar amount is just a large dollar amount to an average human, and so I think that point is 100K. Like anything above 100K, the average human is just like, that's a lot of money. Yeah, like it doesn't 100K and a million like doesn't really move the needle, if that makes sense. Which that's a very nuanced piece of information that applies to very few people, but yeah.
Well, no, I think it applies. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Human, our relationship with money is fascinating. And why is it so exciting? To get, I mean, the times I found like $20 on the ground are like incredible.
Really?
I don't know why. Right? Why are you so happy? Like, what exactly is so joyful about that? I mean, it depends where you are in life, what the situation is. Yeah, I don't know. There's also a gamified aspect to it. It's exciting.
Yeah,
It's
no,
fun.
I get it. Why people want to see people make money. It's just interesting that
You
past
haven't
100
tattooed your
grand,
lip.
it doesn't really seem to make a difference. Like
You
it's
have
the same
tattooed
thing.
someone's lip.
You
No.
want it to be true with all the money you've given away.
Just in click
No,
rate.
I haven't.
Like obviously, in terms of someone receiving it, yeah, $1 million.
They don't really
changes
last
life
that well, to be
drastically.
honest.
Like that's the
No?
difference. Like if you wanted to, you could really quit your job. As opposed to 100K is like not really.
You probably do like a scientific study, like a formula, giving away money to click-through rate.
Yes,
Yeah.
There could be some kind of
I got
diminishing
you.
return.
It definitely the returns level off dramatically after 100K. That's
Okay.
basically the premise.
What
of
about
it.
10,000?
No, there's 100,000.
How's it
It's
feeling?
funny because this is such a
Yeah, it's wrong.
small
It's alright,
niche
yeah.
thing, but yeah, 100,000 does it. From what I see in our videos, get more clicks than 10,000. But the difference between 100,000 and million is just so little. I think big number to a lot of people past that point.
Yeah, so for 100,000 you can, like, you give an average salary, you can probably live for a year, given what the average salaries in America. So that's like a big, that feels something.
Yeah, I think it's also just more when they read the title. It's just like it's a lot of zeros.
It's a lot of
Fuckloads of zeros. Okay, click. You know?
Yeah. Oh man, that's fascinating. So on the thumbnail side, again, that's probably going to be much harder to say probably. But offline, I got a chance to look at a bunch of thumbnails, and it's fascinating which ones do well and which ones don't. Is there something you could say about what are the elements of a thumbnail that work well, or is this also deeply instinctual?
Well, that's where it's the same thing. Like, how do you cook good food? But it's easier if you pull up a thumbnail. And I can be like, that's why that's good. That's why that's bad. That's like an example would be like one of my friends. He just uploaded a video recently, and I called him. I was like, what is this? Because he's a very very smart guy. And in the thumbnail, he's getting chased by cops, but the cops are wearing yellow vests, so they didn't look at cops. I was like, oh, why are the cops in your thumbnail wearing yellow vests? It's like that makes it so much more boring. And he was like carrying a flag, but the pole and the color of the flag were the same color, so it's like it's a little harder to see the flag. It's like also you're wearing like a shirt with like 5 different colors, like so it's like it's hard to tell what your outline is, and then in the background there are cars, and it's like, well, if you have cops chasing you, why not make the cars cop cars? And and it's like, because in my head I'm like, dang, if you just did those like 4 or 5 things, the video probably would have got like 7x the views.
How much iteration? Because I also got a chance to see the number of iterations you do on a just on thumbnails.
It's a problem now. It's an addiction.
Is it? So you got kind of. Because a lot of the versions were really good.
Yeah.
How do you know what to like?
I love
stop?
how when we pulled up that the burger one, and we were flipping through, you're like, that's really good. I was like, oh, that's version like 1 of like 1,000.
But even the sketch, the idea was good. Like already, even the original idea is strong.
Yeah, so one of our coming out videos, we made the world's largest plant-based burger, and the thumbnail we were thinking is like me standing beside the burger because it's 6 feet tall. That's what he's talking about. So like just picture a giant 6 foot tall burger, super wide, thousands of pounds, and then I'm beside it, and then it's like eating the world's largest burger. Like that's just something you have to click. Like, so you were saying like, how would you describe a good thumbnail? Like that, you know what I mean? Like,
But I think you said the one I noticed first that was good, where you were very small in it, relative to and you didn't like that one.
I needed to come forward a little bit, and also, the photo we took was just my upper body.
Yeah.
So they photo manipulated and created my legs, Photoshop, and that's why I said I didn't like it, because my right leg was a little like off. It was like bent the wrong way.
That's-
I
you know,
had
it's
to
also-
build those legs with Photoshop.
Well, does the physics on a thumbnail have to even make sense? I mean, you could just like exaggerate the head size and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff, right?
100%. Yeah, things don't have to be relative. You can. have a car in the background be 3 times the size. Because every one of my thumbnails, my face is in the left side, very big. So brand recognition, so just people know. Especially because now that a lot of people copy our videos, it's just nice to everyone else might make thumbnails like this, but this is mine.
Yeah.
And obviously we usually over deliver and do bigger stuff.
Would you recommend to other creators that wanna make it big, and they see MrBeast and they look up to you, to copy some elements of you, or to really try to be unique?
Unique, 100% unique. You're not the next MrBeast, one quote, feels weird saying that in third person, but whatever, is not gonna do what I'm doing better. They're gonna just invent their own lane. Like, you're just not gonna do what I do better than me. There's so many. I literally have the best people in the world working here, and I reinvest everything I make even to this day. You know what I mean? Like, it's absurd the amount of money I spend on content, and I don't care. I'll just stop sleeping and I'll just film every other day. Like, you're just not gonna beat me at my own game, and that's fine. You shouldn't. Like, I didn't get where I am by just beating someone else at their own game. I just found my own lane and innovated and adapted. And so, there's a lot of people that do copy me, and it's fine, whatever, do it. But just know you're not gonna get to where I am doing that. And so I'd advise you don't.
You give away a lot of the secrets, basically everything, about how you operate. Is there?
I don't hold anything back. Go for it.
How do you think about that? Because that's pretty rare.
I think, and this is definitely not. Most people in my stance, I don't think would take this, or my position would take this stance, but I see every other YouTuber or person on social media, even because we're also focused super heavily on YouTube. Last year we were also the most followed TikTok creator in the world as well. Last year we were the most subscribed to YouTube channel in the world and the most followed TikTok account in the world. But in general, I just see everyone else as collaborators, not competitors. I don't think giving advice and helping other creators do well in any way harms me, and I think it only brings more value to my life.
How was it jumping on TikTok and trying to understand that platform from scratch?
Yeah.
So from being a successful YouTuber to understand a totally different algorithm, fundamentally different algorithm.
It's interesting. Well, not even just the algorithm, just the content. Like, I'm going from basically 15-minute short films to one sub-1 minute vertical content. It's a whole different just ballpark. And so the first little while I was doing TikTok, it's just kind of figuring out what does MrBeast look like in this short form content. But recently we've really started to catch our stride and come up with some original concepts and figure out how to innovate over there, just like we do on YouTube. Because I didn't want it to just be shitty YouTube videos, And so, like, an example is we played The Rock for 100K and rock paper scissors, and the loser had to donate 100K to charity. We did we went to random people on a campus and we offered them. So I said, I'll give you $100 if you fly to Paris and give me a baguette. And then they said no. And I was like, I'll give you $300 if you fly to Paris and give me a baguette. I was expecting this person to say no, and it'd go up to like 10 grand. And he's like, yes. And so he flew to Paris, got a baguette, and brought it back and gave it to me. And that across everything got like 450 million views. Because it's just really cool just to see this